This comes from the New York Post. It says here, breaking. Google announced Tuesday that it was going to reinstate YouTube accounts banned for posting then controversial content related to the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a letter its attorney sent to a House panel. I'm glad they are reinstating these accounts.
Yeah.
But before I jump in, what do you think? Before I, deep
I've
dive.
talked a lot. I've talked a lot. Please. I've said a lot. They're probably
All
like,
right.
whoa, she's awake today.
Um, gotcha.
Yeah, maybe I am.
I think it's good. You're funny. Um, I think it's good that they're reinstating these accounts. I don't think these accounts ever should have been banned. Were there people specifically trying to misspread information, intentionally trying to misspread information? Yes, absolutely. But that wasn't everybody. And we saw that accounts left and right, no pun intended. I don't mean Democrat and Republic. I mean like many people were getting banned for less. Even if you were giving your opinion and saying, well, I think this about vaccines, or I think this about this medicine, or I think this about what Joe Rogan is recommending, even those accounts were being banned. And so I never thought that was good. I spoke out against it when it was happening. I will continue to speak out against it. And I think that we get into a really weird position where we're on these platforms and we rely on these platforms to spread our message, share our thoughts, build community, etc. But these platforms ultimately have the say-so of what we can and cannot do on their platforms. They can change the rules whenever they want. Most of us are not reading the rules when they change them unless there's like a big press release, right?
Yeah.
They change the terms and conditions. We all just hit agree or okay and keep going. So it's their platform. They have the power to make these changes. I'm not saying they don't have the right to remove these people. I'm simply saying I never agreed with these people being removed, especially the ones who were sharing their opinion. Because if the whole thing is about opinions and community and free speech, then it should remain that way. I'm not saying that you should allow people to purposely, intentionally spread misinformation, but I think, fine, if you want to remove those people, I can understand that, right? I can understand if there's clear data that says people are doing X, Y, and Z, and I come on and say, well, that is a lie, and this and this, and spread all this misinformation, I can understand whether I agree or not. But removing people who are doing exactly what the platform is built for, sharing their thoughts and opinions, and just trying to continue to do the same things that your platform says that it's for, then I disagree with that. You want to demonetize them, that's a conversation. Again, there's a lot of things you can do, but I think completely banning them and removing them, I think that was messed up. I'm glad they're being reinstated, and I hope they learn from this, because it was controversial then, but now it's not, right? And so now you're saying, okay, we're gonna let them come back. But if I was one of those creators, I probably wouldn't come back. I probably would stay wherever I've been the last couple of years, because y'all already messed with my livelihood, my community, my psyche. Why would I just come back?
Agree.
So that's my thought.
I feel like that was so long ago, it's going to be harder to get people to say, yeah, I'm going to get back on there. I mean, and people pivot and they, I know a big creator who, creator is seems like such a small word for this man, but I'm not going to reveal who it is.
Right.
A very important person in this country, was banned from YouTube and made the pivot to Rumble and was very successful on Rumble. So I think, and I know everybody doesn't like Rumble for one reason or another. I'm not saying that to advocate for it at all. I'm just saying people make the pivot. People decide that they they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to take their talents elsewhere. So I don't know how much this will mean. I think I think it would be interesting if any of these creators came out and discussed this and how they feel about this, because I'd love to know what people think. I don't know if I would be running back to a platform that banned me for some, especially like you said, the people who were simply giving their opinions.
Right.
Um and not spreading misinformation, because yeah, there were a lot of those people who did that, and I understood that more than I understood the people who were just like, this is what I think. And, you know, I think over the last several years, we've had a lot to contend with when it comes to what people can and cannot say, or should and should not say. And we continue to deal with that and battle that.
Yeah.
And these private companies, like you said, we rely on these places, these spaces, to share what we have to share. All the while, they get to pull the strings. They get to control how it goes, what we can do, what we can't do. They get to enforce or impose their own views on us in a matter of speaking. So I'm glad to see that they're trying to take some sort of corrective action, but also curious how people feel about this. I don't have a specific creator in mind, but I'm just wondering what they're thinking. And do you grin and bear it and you go and you start a new channel, or reignite your old channel or whatever it is, or do you just say, you know what, I've done pretty well without this,
Right.
and I don't I don't need it.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I just want to clear something up. Just to be clear for the audience, when I say spreading misinformation, I don't mean that the person read something and then said, based on what I read, these are my thoughts. I mean that there
Mhm.
was people specifically saying things at that time that was clearly misinformation.
That was not true. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
so I because I want to be clear when I say that I'm not saying for vaccines or against vaccines. I'm not even talking
Hmm.
about that. I just mean
Yeah.
information in general. There are people in this world who they say, "No, well, this is a pen." I say, "No, I'm gonna purposely say that's a pencil."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but we could just click this and see that it writes in a specific
Right.
like way. We could see that that's clearly a pen. It's like, yeah, but I'm gonna still say it's a pencil. It's like that is different than the people saying,
Yeah.
I think this is pink. Actually, I think it's a whole different color. I don't think it's fuchsia. What do you think?
Right.
That is different. And so I just want to be
Or
clear
people.
for the audience.
Yeah, or people who know that what you're saying about the pen is not true, and go out into the world and share that as if it is true. Because
Right,
that happens too,
right,
where maybe I'm not the one who came up with the thought, but I kind of like what you said, even though I know it's not true,
right,
or even though it doesn't make sense to me.
right.
So I'm gonna go repeat it to other people now.
Yeah, so
That is the spreading of misinformation for
right.
sure.
And so I mean, I'm talking about the people who are purposely doing it. We
Yeah.
sometimes even us up here will say something and say, "Hey, according to this source, this is
Right.
what's happening." And then later you find out, "Hey guys, I was wrong." And that source was
Yeah.
wrong. This is actually the information we have now. I'm not talking about that. That
Hmm.
happens and that's a mistake. That's fine. I'm talking about the people who are like purposely doing this, continuously doing this. That's what I mean when I say the people who are purposely spreading misinformation. So I just want to be clear what I mean by that. Um, so people understand what I'm saying, because I know at that time there was a lot of stuff in the gray area
Hmm.
regarding vaccines, treatments, what was happening on a day-to-day basis, what the stats were, what the studies were, what was happening in real time. I'm not talking about the people in the gray area who shared opinions or made mistakes with what they said. I'm speaking about the people who
Hmm.
purposely said this is A when it was Y.
Hmm. Yeah.
and
No, I
continue
got
to do that, right? Because you don't get banned for doing it once. Let's be clear.
you. Yeah,
So I just want to clear that up. So yeah.
I understand.